morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our webinar today on cloud security posture management across AWS environments. My name is Tom Lilly from Netrix Global. I am a field CTO for cloud solutions, which means I help our clients implement and migrate into their cloud and best secure it and ensure that they are doing everything as they should. And I'm joined by Stephanie, who is going to be leading the first part of this conversation. So Stephanie, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi, nice to see you, everyone. My name is Stephanie Chan, Security Specialist at AWS. First, we're looking at challenges in analyzing enterprise security data, automating and reducing risk with integrated services. We'll look at a customer use case, and then Netrix will talk about leveling up your cloud security with Netrix Global, and then we'll cover next steps. All right, so let's look at some current challenges customers are facing today. So, customers are seeking an easier way to identify potential threats in their AWS environments, quickly respond to and remediate identified security gaps, and implement posture management to adhere to best practices. The sophistication and frequency of threats are increasing, and there are not enough security experts, specifically cloud security experts. So customers need solutions that are simpler and more automated. There's a growing complexity to comply with evolving compliance regulations with additional requirements and expanded geographical coverage. The abundance of options out there can make it challenging for customers to make informed decisions, manage complexity, and achieve their desired outcomes. So, when used together, services like AWS Security Hub, AWS Security Hub CSPM, Amazon Inspector, Amazon GuardDuty, and others provide a robust, integrated approach for cloud security posture management and vulnerability management. Some of the benefits include a holistic security view, integrated security workflows, governance at scale, accelerated response times, and reduced operational costs. Automating tasks on AWS enables customers to be more secure by reducing human configuration errors and giving teams more time to work on other work that's critical to their business. Customers can select from a wide variety of deeply integrated solutions that can be combined to automate tasks in new ways, making it easier for security teams to work closely with DevOps teams to create and deploy code faster and more securely. Customers can also automate infrastructure and app security checks to continually enforce security and compliance controls and help ensure confidentiality, integrity, and availability at all times. Building a scalable CSPM and vulnerability management program on AWS involves managing traditional software and network vulnerabilities in addition to cloud configuration risks. A cloud configuration risks like a publicly exposed S3 bucket should follow a similar triage and remediation process as a software vulnerability. In both cases, the app team must own and be accountable for the security of their application, including the underlying infrastructure. This distribution of ownership is key for an effective and scalable vulnerability management program. All right, so let's dive into some of these services. Here is the new AWS Security Hub, our unified cloud security solution. Security Hub ingests signals from multiple sources, including threats detected across your environments, vulnerabilities identified in your resources, security controls, configuration changes in your infrastructure, network exposure, and sensitive data discoveries. So let's break that down into four essential benefits. First, we have unified security operations. Security Hub brings all your security signals into one consolidated view, eliminating the need to switch between multiple security tools and providing comprehensive visibility. Second, we have confident prioritization. Security Hub automatically enriches security findings with crucial context, shows relationships between security issues, and helps you understand the full scope of potential threats. Third, actionable security insights. Security Hub uses advanced analytics to identify what matters most. It helps teams focus on the critical issues and transforms raw data into actionable security insights. Finally, we have streamlined response. Security Hub enables automated response workflows, integrates with your existing ticketing systems, and accelerates time to remediation for security issues. Security Hub has evolved to better suit your security needs. What you previously knew as Security Hub, with its core capabilities in posture management, findings aggregation, compliance monitoring, and best practice checks, is now Security Hub CSPM, and these foundational capabilities remain fully intact. AWS built on this foundation to bring the Enhanced Security Hub, a comprehensive unified security solution. Security Hub's CSPM capabilities are now complemented by automated correlation across security signals, which enables enhanced risk prioritization, helping identify critical issues that might be missed when viewing findings in isolation. AWS also added automated response capabilities to help address security issues more efficiently. Amazon Inspector is an automated security assessment service that helps improve the security and compliance of apps deployed on AWS. Amazon Inspector automatically assesses your resources and your code for vulnerabilities and deviations from any best practices. After performing an assessment, Inspector produces a detailed list of security findings prioritized by level of severity. These findings can be reviewed directly or as part of a detailed assessment reports, which are available via the Inspector console or API. So these are some key ways that Amazon Inspector helps our customers. Detection capabilities like automatically identifying software vulnerabilities across your AWS workloads, discovering unintended network exposure, and providing continuous visibility into your security posture. Prioritizing remediation. So, prioritizing which vulnerabilities need immediate attention, reducing mean time to remediate. Shift left security. So, Inspector integrates directly with your development pipeline, enabling developers to address vulnerabilities during the development phase, preventing vulnerable code from reaching production. And finally, more easily meet compliance requirements mandated by certain frameworks. We have Amazon GuardDuty, a managed threat detection service that provides a more accurate and easy way to continually monitor and protect your AWS accounts, workloads, runtime activity, and data. With GuardDuty, you get intelligent threat detection and actionable alerts in an easy to use pay as you go cloud security service. The foundational data sources that GuardDuty analyzes include CloudTrail management events and Amazon EC2 VPC flow logs and Route 53 DNS query logs. Optional GuardDuty protection plans monitor other resource types, including CloudTrail S3 data events, Amazon EKS audit logs, and runtime activity for Amazon EKS, Amazon EBS volume data, Amazon Aurora log and events, network activity logs, and runtime monitoring. The new Amazon GuardDuty extended threat detection features uses AI and machine learning to rapidly identify complex multi-stage threat sequences across your AWS accounts, workloads, and data. The generated findings help reduce triage time by automatically correlating signals, providing high confidence insights into potentially compromised resources, and delivering prescriptive remediation recommendations. The capabilities are automatically enabled for all new and existing GuardDuty customers at no additional cost. Scenario coverage allows for many variations as cloud attacks are not limited in their scope. So customers will get higher security value as they enable more GuardDuty protection plans because analytics will be able to correlate more diverse signals across multiple data sources. Currently, GuardDuty has 3 different types of attack sequence findings that are generated by the extended threat detection feature, including compromised identity, compromised data, and compromised clusters. All right, so we are looking at our customer use case now from Canva. And you can read this quote from Paul Clark, head of security at Canva. And in this use case, we'll be looking at how this customer automated their vulnerability management with Amazon Inspector. Okay, so let's look at what Canva did on AWS and how it worked. So Canva used Amazon ECR and Amazon Inspector to centralize and continually scan their container images. Integration with AWS Security Hub enabled centralized management of vulnerability scans, which help allocate patching issues to teams based on priority. This architecture allowed Canva to control dependencies and be confident that they are free from their vulnerabilities. But Canva didn't stop there. They're now building a container hardening and promotion workflow in AWS using their CI/CD platform. This is a 4-step process triggered when a change is made in the container repository. A scan is triggered for the image using Amazon ECR and Amazon Inspector. The findings are then fetched by the next step, and the image metadata is updated in an Amazon DynamoDB table. Based on the scan results, container images are promoted and a notification is issued to the team's collaboration platform along with updating their engineering workflow management tool. Our final challenge here is to bring it all together so that teams have a centralized view of all their findings. Learning from our friends at Canva, AWS Security Hub CSPM looks like the missing piece of the puzzle. AWS Security Hub CSPM natively integrates with AWS services like Patch Manager and Amazon Inspector. It supports cross account and cross region aggregation, and it also integrates with AWS organizations. This enables teams to manage access to the tool. One team can view all the aggregated findings in a single view without affecting any change in the configuration of the tool. And then another team can perform admin activities like integration with third party tools. Let's take a quick look at AWS Security Hub CSPM's features and controls. Security Hub CSPM gives teams the capability to automate and centralize security checks. Teams can aggregate findings from multiple accounts and integrated services. They can use the product name filter to list all aggregated findings from a single service. So in our case, we're going to focus on Systems Manager, Patch Manager, and Inspector. All findings are listed with the resources generating the findings. In addition to that, Security Hub CSPM supports automated and continual checks for CIS, PCI DSS, and AWS Foundational Security best practices. So with aggregation through Security Hub CSPM, this is what teams can configure. They can ship all findings to the organization's chosen SIEM or their security information and event management tool, configure remediation actions through the custom actions feature of Security Hub, and even configure notifications based on the findings details. With this patching solutions, teams won't have to sift through multiple vendors, software configurations, and dashboards. They can easily get a consolidated view of all servers and container image repositories in an automated and continuous fashion. Finally, let's look into more of what's possible with configuring automated response and remediation. The solution is broken up into 4 workflows: detect, ingest, remediate, and log. The detect workflow collects events and data from integrated services. The ingest workflow uses Security Hub's custom actions feature to initiate remediation. The remediate workflow, as the name suggests, performs the tasks needed to remediate findings. And finally, the logging workflow logs the results, sends notifications, and updates the Security Hub finding. The solution implementation supports one-click deployment across AWS CloudFormation templates and comes packed with architecture diagrams and implementation guides. Tom, over to you.
Thanks, Stephanie. That was a lot of great information. And I, for one, am really excited in these new security features and updated security features that Amazon is providing for its customers. One of the things that we see a lot of in our organization and across all of our customers is the need for security. And with that, I do want to introduce myself once again, as well as my organization. So my name is Tom Lilly. I'm Field CTO for Cloud Solutions here at Netrix Global. For those of you who haven't had the pleasure to work with us yet, we are a global premier partner with Amazon. We are based in the United States with a global footprint. We've been working with Amazon for years and years and years, as I know a lot of consulting firms have, and I'm sure a lot of you have that are watching this already. Because of this, we have a lot of extensive experience around Amazon and all of the features and functionalities that it does provide. Today, obviously, we're going to be talking a lot about security and have been talking about security a lot for this specific presentation. One of the areas that I want to call out that Stephanie touched on a little bit, but I think is extremely important for all of our customers is really that ability to standardize an environment. It's using tools like Control Tower to ensure that all of the accounts are in your organization are configured properly. And one of the big questions that we get is, well, how do you deploy that? How do you get this into my environment? How do we ensure that it's standardized? And how do we not ensure that it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get these controls in place? Because, hey, we need them now. We have true concerns. We have really big issues that we're trying to deal with. With this, we have actually developed a solution that we refer to as Robotize Control Tower, and we've also extended it into other solutions called Robotize EKS and Robotize ML Ops that wraps a lot of these capabilities and a lot of these deployments in an infrastructure as code shell so that we can ensure that things get deployed in a timely manner and in a secure and standardized manner across your environment. So we can bring these tools after some meetings with you and your cloud architects and other business operators, we can come in and actually perform this deployment in a relatively short amount of time and build these guardrails around that environment, including tools like Security Hub, including tools like GuardDuty, and a few other things that we'll be talking about here in a slide here or two. For those of you that need something a little bit more custom, maybe you have some very specific or tactical security concerns, we have a whole host of expert advisors on our staff who, once again, have decades of experience in cloud computing and security solutions in general across compliance, tactical security, remediation, et cetera. And we can bring these people into your organization to help either assess your environment to see what could be going wrong or what could potentially be updated, all the way into remediation. And that could be everything from closing down security flaws that were found by CSPM, all the way into an incident response if you do have some security event happen that hopefully nobody ever has, but unfortunately is the truth of where we work and live in today. So let's talk about some of the use cases that we really see when we're implementing solutions like our robotized control tower solution. So number one is logging. Uh, you know, Nothing is really as good if you're not paying attention to it and if you're not getting the right information out of it. Stephanie mentioned several times that ingestion workflow, that ability to get the data into a unified location and be able to take action on that data. But the important piece is ensuring that those logs are being centralized somewhere, that you're not making your security teams or our security teams, if you do work with us in that way, go to multiple different locations to be able to figure out what's going wrong and who did something and what's exposed and figure out lateral path movements and all of the correlation that goes into that. So making sure that having a centralized logging and discovery solution is exceedingly important. We actually had this with a customer as well, and we'll talk about a specific customer use case here in a minute, where we weren't getting enough information out of their EDR solution, their endpoint detection response solution. So what we did instead is we implemented Detective, and we actually used that as our mechanism to detect actually an attack that was happening on domain controllers. And because of that, we were able to centralize and figure out sort of what's going on and assist this client in locking down those DCs and expelling the malicious actors from their environment. Compliance is also a really big thing. Stephanie's mentioned before things like PCI DSS and HIPAA compliance, as well even just the AWS security benchmarks and some of the built-in frameworks that come with the cloud and specific cloud solutions. No matter the industry that you're in, there are a lot of different compliance benchmarks that you can take advantage of, whether it is something very specific like PCI DSS or like HIPAA or like NYDFS. There are also some more generic ones that we see like SOC 2 that a lot of our customers really choose to implement because they want to have that level of security. So by leveraging Security Hub and capabilities like Public View, we can take a look at your environment and ensure that it is compliant, that it's meeting the security controls that you're expecting, the compliance controls that your governance, risk, and compliance teams need, and essentially ensure that everything is locked down as much as it should be, as well as gaining that visibility into your environment and what's been deployed and maybe potential areas that are misconfigured. Open S3 buckets is a really big concern for a lot of my customers because it's unfortunately been a point of breach for a lot of organizations, is having these cloud services open and nobody knows about it. So having these tools and this visibility and this capability to look in Security Hub and some of these other features to see what's open and what's not matching a specific compliance standard is extremely important, because once again, it gives you that one place to go. It gives you that dashboard that you can get into and see how your environment is configured and immediately go in and reconfigure and adjust your misconfigurations. I've mentioned robotized control tower, but one of the other areas that we want to cover off on, as well as some of the security controls like GuardDuty, is ensuring that we have these guardrails around the environment, checking to make sure that all of the configurations, that all of the security controls are in place. Seeing that if we are shifting things left, how do we make sure that our customers and their developers are incorporating secure standards into their development, into their deployment of services. So we use tools like Robotized Control Tower and like GuardDuty to ensure that the environment itself has these it has this wrapper around it, and that if somebody does do something that maybe they shouldn't be doing, that at least we get notification, we get visibility into it. The other great thing about that is ensuring that not only do developers have visibility into what they're doing, but also product owners, product managers, all the way up in the organization have that visibility into the environment and can adjust on the fly or make longer term adjustments to their development staff as they make these changes. And then finally, we want to talk a little bit about centralized security management. I've mentioned a handful of times about infrastructure as code. I myself am a huge advocate of it because this gives us the capability to standardize and put things like gates in place to ensure that if something gets deployed, that somebody else has put eyes on it and somebody's not just going rogue in the environment. Because as much as of a fan of IAM, as I believe we all are, I think we all also understand that sometimes it's not configured properly. So having these additional checks and approvals and views into what's being deployed through infrastructure as code tools is extremely important, especially when we're talking about security posture. Things like web application firewall rules, things like security groups, other capabilities that get deployed as well. We want to make sure that they're centralized using an infrastructure as code tool, making those changes in a branch, checking it into main, having it deployed, having it validated, even doing some testing. You know, one of the biggest things that we run into is somebody makes an inadvertent change to, say, a security group, and now we don't have network communication to a crucial application. By implementing infrastructure as code and centralized management through some of the tools that are available on Amazon, we can ensure that when people are making these changes, that we have that visibility and we also have those approval flows as well. So let's talk about a real life use case. So we were working with a utilities provider that is based outside of the United States. And several years ago, this utilities provider actually had a security incident. And as part of that, they reached out to us and we were brought in to do that incident response. We came in and within 3 business days, we were able to get them back up to running as business as usual, which just showcases and highlights the resiliency of Amazon's platform to underpin all of that, as well as the customer's BCDR capabilities that we were able to do that within 3 days. As you can expect, especially being a utilities provider, security is highly top of mind, and in a very regulated and very security conscious industry and vertical, that caused some potential issues for them, both from a compliance perspective. They ended up having an outage of about 20% of their power grid as a part of that, and as part of some of the other capabilities that they were servicing to their customers. And so because of that, they really wanted to shore up their security and ensure that everything was operating as expected. So as a part of this, we came in and recommended that they implement this SIEM platform that we were talking about earlier. Once again, to centralize logs, to centralize monitoring, to even provide some automated response capabilities through SOAR. So what we did is we were working with this customer and we implemented this SIM platform on Amazon that was centralized for all of their accounts for centrally archiving and storing those logs. As a part of that, we saw some pretty significant increases in their security posture and some exceedingly positive benefits to implementing this on Amazon. So number one was a significantly accelerated time to value. Their compliance score in the environment was originally 45%, and within three months, we were able to increase that to an 84% compliance benchmark, and that was across 28 different accounts in their environment. So a relatively distributed environment that we were able to centralize and ensure the value and showcase the compliance capabilities of Amazon and a lot of these other tools that we've been talking about, like Security Hub. In addition, we've seen some significantly enhanced security and compliance. So just in the first couple months, we had over 100 critical security findings that we found in their environment that we were able to remediate. We ended up implementing over 150 policies and improving those policies to ensure that the environment had the correct guardrails in place that they just weren't checking for before. So we were able to actually implement these and ensure that we could make the environment more secure, put some of those guardrails in place, prevent people from doing things inadvertently. We always hate to think of insider risk and malicious actors in the environment, and policies are a great way to essentially ensure that that does not happen, as long as you have the right ones in place. I think we've all been in environments, and I'll say this that I have as well, is that sometimes you have these blind spots that you're not really paying attention to, and so we were able to come in sort of with a fresh set of eyes, make some recommendations, and improve those policies. Because of the scalability and flexibility, we are able to simplify their compliance. And then we were able to then scale out this environment as it was needed, which also ties into that cost optimization. So because this is a pay-as-you-go solution, they don't have to buy expensive hardware, lots of storage, or lots of compute on premises to do all the data transformation and ensure all of those things are happening in a timely manner. We're able to scale this environment out and scale it in as needed, to ensure that they're not being hit by inordinate bills, but at the same time are getting the features and capabilities, and really being able to leverage this as a security solution in their environment without having these bottlenecks that you would traditionally see in an on-premises data center and a SIM platform therein. So what does that all mean for you? Or how can we help you in your security posture? How can we help you in your environment in general? Number one, schedule an assessment with us. Reach out, find us on LinkedIn, hit our website, you know, call us and let's talk about doing an assessment. Security assessments are big. We can help you find those blind spots as we were talking about before. We can make these suggestions. We can help you remediate. But at the beginning, we can come in and help you all take a look around, and maybe we don't find anything. It'll be a first, but who knows? It may happen. But at the end of the day, we can come in and ensure that your environments are running as they should be, as that outside and trusted advisor. In addition, if you want to get some hands-on experience with these solutions, we can also come in and do immersion days, which are partial day exhibits where we can actually get you into the tools and get you some experience with them so that you can see how they work and how they may be able to fit in your environment. In addition to both of these, if you have any other general questions about Amazon, whether it's related to security or anything else, we're always happy to come in and at least consult and advise and give you some best practices information about that. Because as I mentioned, we've got a significant amount of experience on Amazon that we can help you out. You can also learn a lot about that by visiting our website, as I mentioned before. Find us on LinkedIn. There's a lot of great information there that you can find. If you really just want to kick the tires on the solutions themselves and see how they integrate into your environment on your own, one thing to understand is that AWS Security Hub includes a 30-day free trial if you just want to use it and see what it can do, see what it can find in your environment. Same thing for Inspector. You can get Inspector with a 15-day free trial in your environment across your accounts and actually have it pull real valuable information about how you are operating and any sort of security concerns that you should be aware of. And with that, thank you all for joining us in this webinar today. I've been Tom Lilly from Netrix Global. Stephanie, if you have any parting words, I will pass it over to you for a minute.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you learned a lot of insights today, and we will see you next time.